Good evening, everyone. Welcome to FGME Cast on your Wednesday night, wherever you are around this fantastic country of ours, or internationally, if you're joining us from overseas somewhere. It is Wednesday night on FGME Cast. That means one thing only. It is the ANZCAR Thunder Series, the Xfinity cars back on track for you for your Wednesday night action. And as promised, Carl Withy's decided to join me back in the booth tonight, so you don't have to listen to my dulcet tones for the next hour and a half or so. Good evening, Carl. Yeah, as timely there, Matty Hunter, series coordinator, and ANZCAR stalwart. That just shows us why it can be a little tricky around here. It is a tri-oval. Not the first time we've been here this season for ANZCAR, or certainly this year anyhow. It is the first time we've been here this season in the Xfinity Series. And we back it up as usual again tomorrow with the Cup cars. So it's going to be an interesting race today with the tri-oval, a little tighter for the drivers. And on screen now, you've got Josh Mickelmore, who did take out a race win as well, so he'll be primed and ready to go in this one. Yeah, indeed. Just put the weather up on screen there before we show the track off, and we've got 25 degrees ambient, but 39 degrees, and of course, it looks, Carl, correct me if I'm wrong, like this is another one of those concrete or slightly lesser grip level tracks for the drivers to negotiate. Okay. Sorry about that, ladies and gents. Just noticing there was a small outage in the audio, but I think we're back up and running again now. So as I mentioned, and we missed out on a whole heap of things there, but Carl saying hi and that he's back, basically, and we're back up and running here. So we're just having a quick chat, of course, about the track surface here. Carl, do you want to repeat what you said?
Yes, good evening, everybody. Welcome back. It's nice to be back here as well. Pocono is such a tricky track. It's going to be a fast one as well. Pocono, of course, is a very fast super speedway. Teamwork is going to be key here. So getting teamwork right is going to be crucially important. Getting that draft working for you, especially through the turns 4 and 5 and 1 and 2. So those first couple of turns is crucial here. So let's get this working.
Yeah, absolutely. So now that we've actually got you back on the air, Carl, I don't know if now's a good time for us to quickly go through the championship standings, perhaps?
It would be a good time, but unfortunately we're still waiting on the championship standings to come through. We're still waiting for Knoxville Speedway to come up on the Dan and Lisa, so unfortunately we don't have the details for the standings as of yet, but should be relatively soon for that one.
My goodness me, everything tonight just broken. So as up on screen comes Joshua Carroll Walden there. He's just practicing how to not enter pit line, which is good to get that one out of the way. Got a pretty full track again tonight here, 29 cars on the circuit. Good to see that for a Wednesday night. Sometimes it can be a little difficult to get the numbers up for a Wednesday night series, but everyone thoroughly enjoying the Xfinity series. I was talking to a number of the drivers after the race last week, and a lot of them really enjoying just getting into a car that drives a little different to everything else we run on ANZCAR during the week.
Yeah, these cars are fantastic, and of course we've got some of the best drivers out there. We've got the most talented brother of the Fosters out there with Edward Foster doing a great job as always.
Well, I think Ed's brother might have something to say about that, but and Ed certainly would in terms of circuit racing. But the Natari Autosport team diversifying their interest, entering into the Oz Pro-Am Sim Series as well, which we start again next Tuesday night. So you're going to get to see the Foster name and the Natari Autosport boys jump in and do a little bit of circuit racing. Dave Douglas guest driving for that team as well. So they're getting right into that one. And I can tell you that last night, a couple of famous V8 supercar drivers running in that one, and the competition extraordinarily close. I was having a chat with the race administrators yesterday, and 1% covering the top 20 drivers in terms of lap time. 1%. Tiny.
Yeah, there was barely anything between those guys. It was really interesting. It's going to be interesting as well seeing a few of those drivers coming into the pro class this season, setting those incredibly fast times. It's going to be a fantastic series in the GT racing. Definitely looking forward to that one when it comes back. But we are, of course, on the ovals tonight, and the ovals are what we're going to be focusing on for the next couple of nights, because we're going to be here at Pocono for 2 nights running. Of course, we've got double header tomorrow night for the Cup. And of course, the Xfinity race here in the Thunder series, and Andrew Dyson just doing a little display there, just trying to get his car working in the right direction.
Yeah, I just wanted to talk about Dyso quickly. Obviously, for those of you who didn't catch it last week, we ran at the new to iRacing Nashville circuit, and Andrew Dyson single stopped the feature race for the Cup Series here last Thursday evening. So a great run there, and of course in the Xfinity Series, one of the closest finishes we've seen in a long time on the channel. So if you did miss out on that one, jump back on our Facebook page and have a look. There is a highlight there of the finisher if you're wanting to sit down for a little bit and enjoy some coverage. Have a look at the race. But speaking of coverage, we are about to get into qualifying as the clock strikes 55. That means we are finished for practice. Get into 2-lap flying qualifying. If you haven't been with us before watching an ANZCAR race, we do have, like in real life, solo qualifying, 2 laps for the drivers to do their stuff. And in light of Andrew Dyson pulling off that miraculous win last week on the Cup Series, we might jump on board with him tonight and let him take us on a lap or two around this track. We'll just wait for him to get out on track to do his laps. If we have to wait too long, we'll jump on with someone else. But surely Dyso will be jumping out in a moment, and we'll indeed jump on board with him now as he gets on track. And we'll let Carl take us on a lap around this fantastic Pocono tri-oval circuit.
Yeah, Pocono is one of those circuits I truly despise racing on, but it is a fantastic track in all honesty. It brings some great racing. It is a fairly long track as well, so we're going to be looking at some fairly hefty times. It's a 4-kilometre track, so about 2.5 miles in length. So this is a very long track indeed. So we're going to go on this warm-up lap first of all, and like most super speedways, the second lap is usually going to be the faster lap. However, because you do get a little bit of tyre wear here, and because there is some braking involved as well, sometimes that can cause things to drop off. Also, the temperature tonight, as we were saying before, 37-degree track temperature tonight, so it is pretty warm out there. So a few people will be hoping for a ever-elusive qualifying cloud to come. But here we are, coming onto the front stretch of Pocono Raceway. Long front stretch here. Got to be careful because the walls are very close to you. You can run 6 cars wide here if you choose. Very risky to do so. And if you hit those walls, it's very dangerous. Coming into the first set of corners, turns 1 and 2. Easing off the accelerator, drifting the car through there nicely. Getting the nose turned in. Putting the power on just about midway through the corner. You've just got to get that power just right so you miss the wall there. You want to get nice and close to it. Run as close as you can down towards the tricky corner here of turn number 3 or turn 2. It's a really hard turn to get right because you do have to brake a little bit and lift. Very, very tight corner, very easy to mess up. Now comes the final set of corners, turns 3 and turn 4. There's a bridge here that goes over there's a little tunnel, that goes underneath the track. And there's a little bit of a bump here that can sometimes throw you off. On the exit of the corner, it's very easy to lose the rear of the car and have a big moment as Andrew Dyson crosses the line and heads up into P4.
Yeah, good clean lap from him there. It looks like he was just pulling out of it, actually, so he's happy enough with that lap as it stands. Brenton Hobson, race winner here as well, not in Xfinity, but a race winner already in ANZCAR Thunder Series. He is currently sitting on pole, 54.87 a little bit faster than we saw in practice. I think the fastest time we saw during practice was a 55 flat from Brenton Hobson himself anyway. Jaden Russell, currently provisionally in second. We'll jump on with him and just see if he can finish out this lap and move up into pole position. Bit of damage there on the right-hand rear of that one, so this lap probably will not count, given that he has already got a lap in. I dare say that he's touched the wall there, a bit of damage down the side of the 28. So that one no good for him. Josh Micklemore's just crossed the line and has not managed to improve on his time. So let's have a little bit of a look further down the field at some of our drivers who've still got 2 laps to complete. One of those drivers is Luke Trahere in the 43 entry. He changed his team name during the week, and I haven't kept up with that. It was the Way Down, but he's got another name on it now, so we'll just call it LT43 for the minute, just to give him a little bit of coverage there. But 43 Luke Trahere currently getting through his first lap. He's looking, obviously it's in green because it is the first time around for him, and we'll see how he gets across the line. It looks a little slow actually. 54, yeah, it was 56.87, so perhaps making a small error there. It's just slowed him down ever so much, so we'll stick on board with him. Matty Hunter's still out on track. He's going to try and get his laps done. We could run out of time here for them. They've only got about another 45 seconds or so to get this done, so Matty Hunter will have to be quick if he's going to get that one through.
You have to be careful. It's very easy to get caught out here because it is a relatively long lap. We're looking at a 55 second lap time. So it is one of the bigger laps of the year, of course, one of the bigger tracks as well. But Luke Trahere coming around for his second lap. Will he make it in time? It's getting very, very close. Should just about scrape across the line, I think. So he's got a couple of seconds to do it in. Let's see what he can do here on his second run, and that's going to jump him up to P6 for Luke Trahere there.
Much better, a 55.08 there, so he'll be happy to be getting up towards the front, starting with some fairly capable drivers there. But let's get this grid up on the screen before we get things underway here for ANZCAR Xfinity Series from Pocono. I'll run through this list here. We've got Brenton Hobson, Jaden Russell off the front row with Josh Micklemore and Andrew Dyson off row 2. We've got Foster and Trahere off 3 with Urquio and Skurlock off row 4. Lockie will be happy to be up there inside the top 10. Dave Douglas, Hamish Gallagher off row 5, equally with Dave, with Joshua Carroll-Walden and Christopher Finlay off row 6. As we flick back through here, it is Ruben Phelps and Parry Anastakis off row 7, Brenton Westgate Donnelly off 8 with Troy Davison and Greg Spencer off 9. Then Stephen Williams and Matty Ray off row 10 with Nigel Patton and Norm Clark off 11, Gary Wellman, Aaron Dillon off 12, followed by the last few rows of Mirko Doutnak. We've got Tristan Koch, Jake Maloney, Matty Hunter and Steve Hoppett rounding out the 29 starters to get this race underway here tonight at Pocono.
Watch out for Jake Maloney down there in the lower end of the grid. He didn't set a qualifying time, but he is usually pretty quick out there, Maloney. So definitely one to keep an eye out for. But got to say, at the moment, Brenton Hobson has been the absolute star of the field. With those multiple race wins, he's been doing a great job in the last few races. Obviously, Hamish Gallagher is going to want to get a good result as well to get his championship on the way too. So it's a bit of a title fight at the moment. But Brenton Hobson has got his teammate, Brenton Hobson's got Jaden Russell right next to him as well. So teammates on the front row there, of course. So that's going to help them out a little bit. They've got Josh Micklemore there as well. And we know those guys work together. And then so they sort of have a little bit of an alliance there with Mitch Motorsport. But yeah, it's going to be a good race, I think. We should see some interesting stuff. The only thing you got to watch out for is that big crash coming onto the main straight. If you make a mistake coming out of that final corner, it can really catch you off. And that main straight, although it is quite wide, it has those walls very close by, and it can almost be like a pong effect bouncing you across them.
I did just want to quickly touch on as well, we just had Steve Williams and Matty Raymond up on screen there, 19th and 20th. I think that one there is going to be battle of the shiny cars, because those two generally stay out of the danger. And just seeing someone there looks like they've almost looped it in pit lane. Not sure who that was in the, I think might have been one of the Simboys entries. But didn't
Aaron Dillon.
Quite see it. Aaron Dillon just having a big loop there. Maybe just trying to get some heat into the rear tyres. Not always the thing to do, of course.
No, so he's just basically done a big burnout there just to get those rear tyres a little bit of extra heat in them for the start. So that could come to help him a little bit. Of course, it is a long pace lap here. So the pace lap is a long one, so they're going to lose a fair bit of tyre temperature as they come around. Of course, they start off on cold tyres. There's no such thing as a tyre warmer in NASCAR. So there's no tyre blankets to worry about. So getting that little bit of an extra kick off the start there can help it. What these drivers will generally do, though, is sit on the brakes a little bit. They'll sometimes put the brake bias forwards or back a little bit and just hold the brake as they're driving around just to get some more heat in the tyres. Of course, the main way to get heat in your tyres is generally actually through the brakes rather than weaving left and right. That doesn't generally do much to the tyres. Brenton Hobson having a bit of a blinking issue as well, so he's having some connectivity issues. But we are getting ready and we are going green here at Pocono Raceway for the ANZCAR Thunder Series. The Xfinity cars are going wild here on FGM eCast.
Absolutely, a good start there. Brenton Hobson getting away. He was doing exactly what we're talking about, their car holding the brake while they're getting around, and he's just let that up and taken off. Josh Mickelmore down the inside of Jaden Russell at the moment. He's trying to keep up with his teammate. You can see Mickelmore there with Andrew Dyson on the outside. Oh, Dyson gets close there, just touches the wall on this opening lap. As we get our way around here, you can see this field come roaring through from this fantastic camera angle that we've got. Thanks very much for the follow there, Chalk and Bow, as we keep getting this one going. And we're just trying to catch up with the leaders here, and it is still Hobson from Russell now. They've sort of formed their line. As you say, Hobson there just having that connectivity issue. We might just jump off him for a bit so the screen doesn't go blank. You can see here Dyson now putting the pressure on. You've got Foster just on the outside line there on the right-hand rear quarter of Dyson. He's going to try and get down underneath him now with Trahair behind him. Skurlock rocking some sort of new livery there. Looks like a lollipop or some sort of icy pole as he's making his way around the track. In fact, I think it's My Little Pony.
Skurlock rocking the My Little Pony outfit today. just showing his brony affiliation there, Skurly. He is a pony fan for life. Obviously, being Welsh, it does help him a little bit.
Oh my goodness! And it's only fitting that, of course, we've got the My Little Pony fan following around the Taylor Swift-mobile. In fact, he's got in front of him there, so My Little Pony's got the gallop on, and Taylor's, or old Tay-Tay, Mitch Motorsport, Hamish Gallagher's just dropped one position there.
Yeah, that's it. A battle of ponies and Taylor Swift at the moment. It's going to be an interesting one. And then you have the Eagle up front with Luke Trahair as well. So some new paint schemes to get used to as well, which always throws us out mid-season. There is some battles going on down the back. Nigel Patton has just got some fast-charging cars behind him. They're running about 3 or 4 wide at the moment down the front straight with Mirko Dornak down the inside, looking very, very good at the moment. So what we love to see here at Pocono, of course, is the fact that you can run so wide here. You can run 3 or 4 cars wide without too much issue. Just have to be careful, as I say, through that corner of turn 2, that very tight left-hander that can easily catch you out. Edward Foster sitting there in 5th still. The front has not changed much. The biggest changer is Michael Skurlock up 2 positions in 6th, and Hamish Gallagher up 2 positions in 8th at the moment. Those guys are moving. Down towards the back, Jake Maloney is working his way up the field. He's managed to make 6 positions so far. So keep an eye out for Maloney. He's going to work his way up the field. I wouldn't be too surprised to see him getting close to the top a little bit later on, as Luke Trahair has Hamish Gallagher down the inside, making a move right here. Hamish Gallagher in the number 13 makes up another position, getting towards his teammate Josh Mickelmore, so those guys can start working together.
And it looks like Lachlan Urquio there just trying to take advantage of that as well. He got a good run on Trahair, so he's right on the back of him here. We'll stick with this battle. It looks like he's got some pace. A couple of the guys there as well, Carl, noticed when we're watching through this corner, getting into that wall as well. It's going to be one that they're going to have to watch tonight to not get too much damage on the car early on that could slow them down. So A little bit of race management required here. As you just see there, Josh Mickelmore getting underneath Jaden Russell, so he's going to get the move done here, you think, and get out into the front. Andrew Dyson now with a blinking issue as well, so a few of the drivers with connectivity issues, so kind of like dropping a cylinder a little bit in the real world if you're trying to look for a comparison against what that might be experiencing there for them as well. The driver, if you don't know, if you're not in iRacing, when the connectivity goes out, they don't see the other cars on the track necessarily either, so they've got to be real careful about where they position the car to make sure they don't end up taking themselves and some other driver out. So keep an eye on that, see if that develops any further. There's Lachlan Urquio just there behind Luke Traher, just sticking the nose out, seeing if he might be far enough up to get it done. Not yet, but what it has done is brought Dave Douglas into this equation. He's now pestering the back of Lachlan Urquio, and Joshua Carroll-Walden joining into this mix as well. So Traher just struggling a little bit early on for some speed here. Dave Douglas not waiting anymore, getting the 199 rowdy entry down underneath the 42 of Lachlan Urquio. So Lachlan's going to have to relent a little bit here, is he? No, if he's got a good drive out of the corner there in the 42 and manages to shut Dave Douglas out again. So he's going to keep him behind him for another lap or two. This has allowed Traher just to settle a bit and make a little bit of a margin over the top of them. You can see as well Christopher Finlay joining on this. So got a bit of a separation here between our lead pack, which does have 6 cars in it at the moment, and this second pack that's developing close by.
It looks like we may have lost Andrew Dyson, unfortunately, from this race. Looks like his connectivity has gone completely. But Dave Douglas, the big D, doing a bit of a slide job underneath there, and he's going to try it again underneath Lockie. And see the tail just starting to hang out a little bit on that car. Dave is absolutely flying at the moment, pushing that car as much as he can. There was a little bit of a moment for Luke Traher a couple of laps ago as he just tapped the back end into the wall. He managed to keep the car nice and clean, but he just made contact with the wall. So they are really pushing at the moment. It looks like the rear tyres are falling off a little bit because they are starting to slide around a fair bit. Douglas getting a good run here. You can just see from JCW's car, Joshua Carroll-Walden here, Dave Douglas on the inside there of Lachlan Urquio. He's going to get the car underneath. You can see that back end just stepping out a little bit. Lockie's going to get a bit of a better drive off the corner here. He's going to be able to sit underneath Luke Traher's tail, get a bit of drive and a bit of slipstream in action, a little bit of that draft there, which is going to save him from Dave Douglas's grasps for another couple of corners at least.
As you say, tyres going off a little quickly here, so guys are going to have to manage it. Track temp coming into consideration as part of that. We're only 7 laps in, so they just need to be aware of that one and maybe let the tyre come back to them a little bit before they get too much more involved in any of this sort of activity. As you can see, they're just sliding through. Luke Traher block out Lachlan Urquio for another lap. Dave Douglas behind him doing the same thing. In this battle, we'll keep an eye on it. Jump up a little bit further here. We've got Dave Douglas coming under pressure from the cartoon characters of My Little Pony and of Taylor Swift as well. But Skirley very quick in that 350, irrespective of what the paint looks like. Doing a great job here with pressure on at the back of... Oh, wow, look at that down there as well as behind them. I think we're going 3 or 4 wide, are we? Just 3 wide, 2 wide now. They to get into the corner, but... Switch back here to this battle. So Skirley's got wide. He's lost a little bit of momentum there, and that's exposed him to Hamish down the inside of him. Hamish Gallagher in the 13 Mitch Motorsport entry. So these two are still fighting. It's given Foster a little bit of breathing space at the front of this group. He's trying to jump onto the back of Jaden Russell. Edward Foster. Gap there now about 4 tenths. And our 2 leaders, Hobson and Mickelmore, I shouldn't say our 2 leaders, the 2 at the front, Hobson and Mickelmore at the moment, just stable.
Yeah, Mickelmore making the move on Jaden Russell a few laps ago to get up into P2. Jaden Russell just falling back a little bit. Jaden Russell, of course, very, very quick, very experienced on the road courses, still learning a bit on the ovals, same as that man in front, Brenton Hobson. Those guys coming over fresh to oval racing, so doing a great job though. They are showing great pace as well and have been really doing well all season long. But you can see Foster is just pulling away a little bit from Skirley and Gallagher at the moment, getting a little bit of a lead. Meanwhile, a little bit further back, Luke Traher has got Dave Douglas all over the back of him. Joshua Carroll-Walden on top of him with Christopher Finlay, Ruben Phelps, Parry Anastakis there as well. There is a massive train forming up behind Luke Traher at the moment. Seems like Luke is just off pace a tiny bit. You can see Dave Douglas now just going down the inside of this battle, and Dave is going to get underneath there. Luke's just going to fly up. He's going to lose a bit of pace here. He might lose a position to JCW as well. JCW getting on the power nice and early. He's going to get up underneath and get a little bit of that draft and try and get him into the final set of corners here. So we'll see how this one pans out. But yeah, it is such a high-speed track, and it does get very tricky very quickly here. It's very easy to make a mistake, especially over that turn number 2, that very tight triangular section at the top of the track.
And in the meantime, Josh Mickelmore has got past Brenton Hobson into the lead of this race, so he's now 3/10 in the clear with Hobson, Russell, Foster, Skurlock and Gallagher in this train. Josh Mickelmore checking out a little bit. He's just opening up the margin ever so slightly over the 54 of Brenton Hobson, who would have had to work a little harder than the rest to try and stay at the front there with the lead. So this pack now forming into 6 cars with Lachlan Urquio in a little bit of no man's land by himself. So if you're looking to join onto the back of Hamish Gallagher and get into this lead pack as we're through 11 laps here at Pocono. And so far a clean start from everyone. A little bit of wall rubbing as is to be expected, but everyone doing a good job so far in this race.
Yeah, great job so far. We've seen this through the season, some really good, well-driven races from these guys. Gotta say, I think Hobson actually just let Mickelmore past. Didn't fight him too much. I think he was just letting him through just to get behind him, just to get a little bit of fuel saving on board for that car, because obviously you're going to use a little bit more fuel leading here than you are if you're sitting behind the other car. You can see Parry Anastakis at the moment just getting passed by Jake Maloney there. So Jake Maloney working his way right up the field. 13 positions now for Jake Maloney. I said watch out for him. He's going to be working his way up there throughout this race. Super quick driver Maloney. Doesn't always have the time to come and race. Very busy out of the car as well as inside of it.
Yeah, just noticing there, actually the highest I rating in the server tonight, 6,200. Wowzers. So for those of you who don't understand iRacing, there is a ranking system of licenses and iRating, and the iRating basically says that you can beat or should be able to beat anyone with an iRating weaker than you. Not all the drivers in our servers, of course, do participate in official series very often because they're too busy running in the ANZCAR stuff. But Jake Maloney there just reinforcing that he is a strong driver. So keep an eye as he continues his progress through the field. He's got Christopher Finlay in front of him, and Christopher Finlay will be just managing his way through the race as well. So just have that in mind.
Yeah, it's all a thing of just managing the car as you go, just keeping things, just trying to keep the car cool as well. Sometimes when you're following another car quite closely, you can get a bit of a build-up of heat. Air temperature is not super high tonight at 25 degrees, but it can affect the car on these speedways, of course. As you see, big amounts of speed there, just getting that speed up side by side with Christopher Finlay at the moment. And he's going to get through there, go down the inside and make that move count.
Yeah, so just cut a few ticks over 300 k's an hour there. And a fantastic onboard shot here. As Maloney gets through, he just gives the wall a little bit of a tap there, but Maloney gets through, gets another position up, Christopher Finlay, so he's now 14 spots to the good from his qualifying effort.
Yeah, likes to start towards the back of the grid, Jake, and work his way through the field. And he's one of those sickening drivers that has the speed to do it sometimes.
Absolutely. So I'll just keep an eye on things here. Just start settling down a little bit now. It was very close at the start. We had a lot of too wide running, and our pack at the start, at the lead, I should say, has started to spread. So far it is just Andrew Dyson out, unfortunately, with an internet connection issue that has taken him out of the race, or engine failure, as I guess we'd call it. And he's the only out so far, 15 laps in. No caution periods either. A good, clean start to this one with some close racing. Speaking of which, Edward Foster's just starting to be pulled in now by Michael Skurlock and Hamish Gallagher as well. And Lachlan Urquio is making his way onto the back of this pack. Then we've got around about another second back to Dave Douglas, who's holding out now against Luke Trahair, Joshua Carroll-Walden, and Ruben Phelps, already up 4 spots as well, 2 spots as well, I should say. And he is into this pack too. So 2 very clear battle packs forming 15 laps through this one.
Yeah, good clean racing so far. Micklemore up front is doing another great job. I've just noticed Trev jumping in to watch the stream, so I'm sure he's going to be happy about seeing Josh up there in the lead at the moment. And as always, got some good speed in that Mitch Motorsport car, but Hobson is starting to come back at him now. They've formed a bit of a gap between Hobson and Russell now. Foster's just sitting behind Russell as well, but there's a nice little gap, and I was expecting to see Hobson get past Josh Micklemore relatively shortly.
Yeah, as you mentioned, he backed off for a little bit there, I think, just to take a breather and maybe manage the tyres a little bit, as we're on board with Hobson now, as he tailgates Josh Micklemore a little bit into the Mitch Motorsport sign on the back of the Camaro. And a name that is very synonymous with victory here in the ANZCAR series. But Hobson here just starting to close that gap back up. And we let things just come to him a little bit. Take, as you say, some fuel saving from not leading the race. And he's now going to put the screws down on Josh Micklemore and see if he can make his way back up into the lead. Still very early on though, 17 laps through. Any rough idea, Carl, to put you on the spot of fuel numbers for tonight?
Not a clue tonight, so not a clue whatsoever, but I would imagine 60 laps, they're probably going to get to around about 25 with green flag running. They might be able to just get to about 30. Just down a little bit further, Ruben Phelps has got Jake Maloney all over him. Jake Maloney just getting the move done, sliding up in front of Ruben Phelps. Ruben Phelps new to the Crank Esports team. He's now got Kate Donnelly all over the back of him as well. So this battle is heating up. Maloney's going to get some clean air for a couple of moments and start trying to catch up to JCW, Joshua Carroll-Walden, shortly.
Yeah, of course, as you say, Ruben Phelps joining the Crank Esports team there, so he's their latest recruit, and good recruit for them as well. Phelps, one of the up-and-comers, no doubt about it, in the ANZCAR series, his consistency in clean racing. Just getting better and better as he moves up towards the front of this field more consistently. He's got Matty Ray behind him in the Mr. Sheen Matty Ray entry. That car, of course, absolutely spectacular still, as you'd expect. And Matty Ray just doing well up 6 spots as he does, just building and building his race throughout the night, and currently just sitting in 14th position, minding his own business just the way he likes it.
Bit of contact between the 98 and the 01 free of Aaron Dillon and Stephen Williams. Stevie Dub, of course, the truck champion, just got away cleanly with that one. It could have been much, much worse for him. You can see Aaron Dillon, a bit of damage to the nose of that car now. So he's going to be struggling a little bit for pace, and you don't really want to get too much damage on the front of the car here, because you can lose a lot of speed. As you can see, he's losing that speed down the straight at the moment. Cars going all around him. You've got Mirko Dortnak down on the inside at the moment in the 62. Nigel Patton just behind them in the number 90, and Norman Clark just catching up to this battle as well. And I'd say that this is going to be tricky for Dillon to keep them all behind him. This is going to be the big battle at the moment at the front.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not great obviously for this short run, but with that potential for pit stops in the next 5 to 6 laps, maybe he's probably going to be able to hold it out, get some of that damage repaired, because the last thing he wants to do now is pit under green and get it repaired and then come out and have a caution period thrown. So hopefully he can manage that through, and then Aaron just work on it a little and make his way back up through the pack during the rest of this race.
Yeah, the big thing you got to do when you have damage like that is just resettle the car. When you get a bit of a clip like that, it just throws you off a little bit and makes things very tricky to drive. It's very tricky. So you just have to sort of recenter yourself, resettle into the car, just work out what's going to be happening with that one, because the car changes its handling and everything like that. So you just have to really get on it and get working with that one. We've lost Steve Hoppett from the race, unfortunately. He's had a bit of a moment a couple of laps ago, just coming out of the final corner, I believe it was, and just clipped the wall. So I think that's it for Steve Hoppett's race, sadly. So another car falls behind the wall tonight, but we still have no caution. Green flags so far here at Pocono Raceway. And we have got the first of the pit stops coming in.
I was going to say, Matty Hunter jumps into pit lane. So the first of our pit stops in the Vision Motorsport 48 entry. So he'll get a full tank of gas, and he'll get some new rubber, and he'll head on his way out of the track. But Mickelmore's just keeping an eye at this top pack here. So Mickelmore and Hobson now about 1.5 seconds to the good over Jaden Russell. Michael Skurlock has managed to make his way up. Looks like Ed Foster's just struggling a little bit at the moment, because he's taken Hamish Gallagher with him, has Michael Skurlock, and Foster drops down into 6th position at the moment. He's got Lachlan Urquhart closing in on him as well. So it is a little tight here in this battle, which is for 4th through 7th, and Dave Douglas as well closing in on this group. So it's about to get bigger as we're heading towards that first round of pit stops. So these guys will be mindful of that. Be aware there may be an attempt for a little bit of an undercut too. Dave Douglas has been known to try that out to get ahead of others. Slightly risky strategy, of course, when we've had all green flag running. Because at any tick of the clock, could have a caution that'll catch you out, but it is worthwhile, if you can, to get that undercut done.
Yeah, it's not as effective here as some other tracks, of course, because it is more about just brute speed and power. You don't lose too much time through the corners. Obviously, fresh tyres will be a little bit faster, but generally getting a bit of a draft is important as well. I think I saw Matty Hunter re-emerging just with the group of cars up front, so he's going to get some nice drafting from the guys up ahead of him, which is going to help his speed a little bit. And with those fresh tyres, he should make a bit of a move. Gary Wellman coming in pit lane as well. So I'll give you an idea of what Matt Hunter's time is once we get a solid lap out of him. As we got a caution out, the caution is out.
There it is. I didn't see what caused that. Gary Wellman into pit lane. That happened and was successful. I did see Lachlan Urquhart getting a little high in the line there, but you can see he's fine just in front of this that we're looking at. So we'll jump back here and have a look at and try and identify what caused the caution.
Roy Davidson has had a moment. So I think it might have been Troy Davidson into the back of Stephen Williams. So that's what's brought the caution out. So Troy Davidson and Stephen Williams making contact and getting into Lachlan Urquhart as well. So we'll see here. You can just see Troy Davidson just getting into the back of Stevie Dubb and then just catching Mirko there. So that is the reason for that caution flag to come out, and this is going to be a godsend for those guys that have that are needing to come in for tyres. It's also going to be quite good for Gary Wellman, who just made his stop and came out, I think, on the lead lap still. So he just got incredibly lucky here. So this could be really good for the Talladega winner, Gary Wellman, right now. This should jump him up into the lead of the race, if I'm not mistaken. So he's going to have to catch up to the back of the cars. So he's going to be pushing nice and hard right here to get right to the back of the pack. But we're going to see all of the cars coming into pit lane shortly. So this is going to work out beautifully for Gary Wellman. It's going to help Matt Hunter, not too much, but it is going to... it's not terrible news for Matt Hunter, being that he just pitted. he'll get back on the lead lap. But it was the worst possible time for Matt Hunter. It worked out perfectly for Gary Wellman, who has just started catching up to the back of the pack. You can see he's absolutely flying at the moment. And he's just going to be coming around the final corner now. So he's going to come past all of this field and lead the race on tyres that have done around about one lap, but they're going to be nice and warm for him on the restart as well. As the field come into pit lane, Mickelmore, Hobson, West. Oh, we got an incident in the pit lane as Dave Douglas has had a bit of a moment in pit lane. Dave Douglas has gone around in pit lane, trying to see what happened there. Luke Trahere caught him. So Luke Trahare's gone into the back of Double D, Dave Douglas. Trahere going into the wrong pit stop. It's going into the wrong pit stall, and caught the back of Dave Douglas. That is dire for Dave Douglas.
I'm just trying to jump back here and see if I can find it. We'll jump on board with Luke Trahere. What's going on there? It just hasn't gone back quite far enough.
No, so it's a little bit further back. So effectively, Luke's actually come into pit lane, and he's missed his. He sort of thought his pit stall was a bit closer than it was, and he caught the back of Dave Douglas, spun Dave around, just got into the complete wrong pit box. So that has really hurt him for his positioning. That is absolutely dire for Dave Douglas. Meanwhile, Mirko Dortnak has had an incredibly fast stop. Did Mirko change tyres? I don't think so. I'm going back and having a look at this one because he's missed his pit box. Mirko's missed his pit box. So I think Mirko actually got caught out with that incident with Dave Douglas, and he's just had to drive through pit lane. So he's going to have to come in again to actually get his pit stop done. So that cost Mirko and Dave Douglas a huge amount.
I was going to say, we've spoken about it in the past when these cautions come out and the whole field goes in. It can be really difficult to pick out your pit box, particularly if you might have qualified slightly out of position to where you're normally used to, or whatever the case might be, and you just miss the stop. So it's easy enough for it to happen. But Mirko Dortnak, they're just getting unlucky as well. So he won't go a lap down. He'll get out and catch up onto the back of this field as the lights go out on the pace car. So we've got a long lap here to go, and then we will get racing again. Mirko already back out on track. He'll make his way back around and close up on the back of the pack here and not miss a lap. Dave Douglas currently just getting some repairs done, taking advantage of the long, slow lap here as well, just to get some damage fixed on the 199 Rowdy entry. He's on his way back out now, and he'll make his way up. Won't probably quite catch the pack. He might do. You can see the majority of that damage on the back repaired, so he'll be thankful for the long lap, that's for sure. And he'll have to start making his way back up the field after a strong qualifying effort.
Yeah, he's going to have to do a lot of work. The only good thing for Dave Douglas right now is the fact that when he catches up to the back of the field, his tyres are going to be a little bit warmer. Gary Wellman, meanwhile, he is on tyres that are a couple of laps older than the rest. So he's got tyres that are a little bit older than the rest of the field. But he is in the race lead. He just pitted when that caution came out, so this is going to be really good for Gary Wellman. Pace car has come in. Gary Wellman's going to lead us away here at Pocono, and he gets a good start there. Gets away, but you can see Josh Mickelmore having a really good start as well. As Aaron Dillon has a big moment a little bit further down the field as well. So just going to have a little bit of a look at that while we watch the actual race. So I think there was a bit of a check up in front of Dillon, and he's just had a moment of avoidance there, but yeah, that was a bit of a messy restart there for him. But you see there up the front, Mickelmore getting past Wellman as well as Michael Scurlock. He's going to be sitting out on the outside. You can see just behind him Russell and Hobson as well. It's going to be a big fight in this middle pack now. These guys are all on fresh tyres. The battle is about to begin, and will we see cautions breeding cautions? They are 2 to 3 wide going through the corner at the moment in the pack, so this is getting very tight. This restart is a bit chaotic at the moment, but they are managing very well, doing a good job down here.
Yeah, I tell you what, another person that benefited from the pit stop cycles, Matty Raymond. He's made a move down the inside of Edward Foster now, and currently now sitting up in 8th position, up 11 spots, on his starting position. The other benefactor, of course, was Gary Wellman, and Jake Maloney now up 22 spots inside the top 5 as we get around past this back straight. Again, another fantastic camera angle for us to be able to bring to you. But it is Mickelmore who's got Scurlock now, My Little Pony, all over the back of him. And the 31 of Josh Mickelmore now trying to push away in the pack. Scurley will be trying to go with him. Jaden Russell likewise. So you can hear a little bit of a slide into the corner. Probably still trying to get tyres up to temp as Jake Maloney, not wasting any time at all, tries to get down the inside of Gary Wellman as well. Not quite able to do it there. He'll have another crack at it down here into the Supra. You reckon he'll be able to get it done down the inside here? Of course, Wellman only on tyres that are 2 laps older, so not any real advantage there. Just outright pace here as well, as you just see the drivers there struggling to avoid that wall on the exit of the corner. But Maloney getting a good exit there now. He's down under Gary Wellman. He's going to get the job done here. 54 of Brenton Hobson. Hobson will be looking to go with Maloney, as will the 13 entry of Hamish Gallagher. Edward Foster's got a little bit of pace back now as well, so these guys will be wanting to get past Wellman and make their way up to the lead here as 55.13. Jaden Russell's just put in as the fastest lap of the race. So he tries to chase down Michael Scurlock, who's still within touching distance of Josh Mickelmore, but Mickelmore back out in the lead of this race.
You can see back there, Gary Wellman's got Jake Maloney on his inside. Brendan Hobson just behind them with Hamish Gallagher and Edward Foster. This battle is really heating up. Wellman's struggling on this restart a little bit, so not having the easiest time there. We did hear from Andrew Dyson as well. Internet issues, unfortunately for him. Steve Hoppett as well. Car was a bit loose on the setup and he just lost it going into the final corner, sadly, smacking the wall, and that was the reason why we've seen those 2 cars out. But it's currently 2 cars out of this race, the rest of them running. We still have 27 cars in this field, still running hot, still running fast, all on the lead lap. So it's anybody's game, it's anybody's race to win. But the battle is definitely heating up in the mid-pack. Meanwhile, Mickelmore and Scurlock are still battling out front. Jaden Russell is trying to catch up to the back of them, but they have got a little bit of a gap over those 2, as Wellman and Hobson now fight it out. You can see Hobson going down the inside, trying to take Hamish Gallagher with him. Gallagher's going to look at getting in the middle there as he gets a blink. Oh, that's not what you want from Hamish Gallagher. That car has just blinked out of existence for a moment. He comes back in right in front of Foster. He just, that was so close, but luckily no incident there. But Gallagher's going to lose a couple of positions as he hopefully has no more internet issues. We don't want to see any more of those tonight.
Geez, Ed won't be happy there. Foster, the double blink, he had Hobbo and Gallagher disappear in front of him, and then fortunately, generally the drivers understand if they blink off the screen to move down towards the inside of the track. So, but did reappear just down on the nose of Foster there. So, lucky for Foster not to get pulled out of that one with both those cars reappearing all of a sudden. As he's got a good run on now on the back of the 54 entry of Brenton Hobson. He's all over him here, trying to get some advantage out of the draft and move to 53, up 1 more position. In fact, he'll get 2 positions. He'll be up into the top 5 again. Could be just where he started. So he's got the run here. He's got Josh Mickelmore. Sorry, my apologies. He's got the 13 of Hamish Gallagher right behind him as they get down the straight, but that hasn't worked out well for Hamish. Just had to drop in again into line, and Foster will be happy here. He's managed to move up into that top line. Now try and go with Brenton Hobson in front of him to make a little bit of margin over Gallagher and Wellman.
Meanwhile, up the front, Michael Scurlock is dabbing away, and he is rainbow dashing away in the lead in the beautiful My Little Pony car of Skirley there. He's got in front of Josh Mickelmore and is building a little bit of a gap at the moment. He's built that 0.4 of a second, so he is gaining some positions.
Absolutely, and Josh has just dropped off a little bit here. You can see Jaden Russell now putting the pressure on him, and Jake Maloney's coming through too, so Mickelmore's going to have to do a little bit of elbows out here. Of course, it's still early on. We're just over halfway through the race, lap 33.
Oh, and we're going to get a caution. We've got to get a caution. Big accident down the back end. We've got a car on its side of Aaron Dillon. Well, will we get a caution? Aaron Dillon losing it, gone up into the wall. He's drifted around the corner, up into the wall. And he has had a big smash. Tell you what, Greg Spencer is extremely lucky to miss that one. He's gone completely on his roof, rolled it over, managed to get back on all four wheels and keep going. You can see just how close Greg Spencer was there, but that's a huge crash for Dillon. Surprised the caution didn't come out, in all honesty. We got very lucky there.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe just because he landed back down on the roof of the car, the motor then let go and he is out of the race. But no caution called, so Michael Skurlock still leads this race from Josh Mickelmore. Mickelmore under pressure. You can see there Russell behind him, Maloney behind him as our lead pack.
Tell you what, Greg Spencer is probably going to need a change of race overalls after that one. That was a very close call for him. Seeing Aaron Dillon just come flying across his nose. He lost the back end of that car and then just so close. We can see here, watch this, millimetres in that. That was so very close, as we have got a caution out.
Yeah, it looks like maybe Lachlan Urquio there's had an issue. In fact, Gary Wellman and Lachlan Urquio have had an issue there that's caused a caution. Jump back and have a quick look at that one.
Big moment as Lockie's gone up into the wall in turn 2, come across, caught Gary Wellman, speared Gary Wellman down into the wall and then hit him. Gary Wellman getting those wheels locked just in the right time, but that could have been a much bigger crash. Gary Wellman, you can see just going up the track. We'll follow him in a moment, but you can see those cars getting very close to hitting him. He put on the brakes very quickly, luckily, and sort of was trying to steer the car out the way if he could. So we'll watch this one again, but you can see that second hit from Lockie's just speared him up the track. He slammed on the brakes, let go of the brakes here, thinking he could possibly get it going forwards again. Fortunately, the car was getting too much momentum, put the brakes on again, locked it up in the middle of the track there, which is what you actually want to do. You can see Dave Douglas just spearing around there. Now, you may look at that and go, why would you want to stop in the middle of the track? Well, it's easier to avoid a car than it is to second guess it. So absolutely the right move from Gary Wellman. Unfortunate to see from his perspective because he was having a good night. But we are going to see all the cars come into pit lane, top up on fuel, get some fresh tyres now because they're going to be able to make it to the end of the race.
Yeah, it's like the perfect lap for it to happen on if it was going to happen because it's probably a critical lap to be able to fuel home from here with 25 to go, or about to commence 25 to go. So they'll do a couple of laps under caution, which will save them that little bit of extra juice, and they should be able to do the 23-lap sprint to the end from here if we don't have another caution period. Very clean start to the race here. We've had a couple now in short succession, but spaced out well enough that it's going to get us through to the end. So let's see how we get on from here. Hopefully everyone can find their pit box this time and get through the pit stops quickly and cleanly. Skirley in the lead of the race there. Trahair just going through. He is where he is. And Dave Douglas this time just drives straight past his pit box. So Double D, Dave Douglas, was the victim in the last pit stop. This time he's just cruised on by maybe his crew were in the pit lane eating ice cream and not enabling him to stop there, but he's done it again. So a terrible night, unless it's deliberate, and Dave will probably come out and tell me that it was deliberate at the end of the race, but the Double D, Dave Douglas, just cruising through pit lane there, moves him up into second place, but of course he's going to have to stop again. He will not make it to the end of this race on fuel.
No, it's a very unfortunate one for Dave Douglas there. That's it's easily done. We've seen it done so many times, and you know, some of these drivers, it depends what you've got going on. If you use the iRacing the iRacing crew chief itself that's built into iRacing doesn't tell you where your pit box is sometimes. It looks like Dave was just not realising his pit box was there and just didn't brake in time, decided to abandon it rather than locking up the brakes and reversing into his pit box. He's not going to lose many positions from this because he was down towards the back of the grid anyway with that earlier incident. So this will mean he'll just start at the back of the grid for the restart. So he should be able to avoid any issues if there are any. So it's just going to mean he's just going to start a bit further back than he would have wanted to there, because he did gain a few positions in that last before that last caution, of course. But you do get some other applications, of course, things like crew chief, which do allow you to know where your pit box is, so that actually counts you down to whereabouts your pit box is. So I'm just wondering actually if Dave's decided to stay out there because he doesn't think anyone else is going to make it on fuel, same as Matty Hunter, because Matt Hunter's stuck it out there as well, because they were getting towards that point. So we've got 23 laps remaining. If it remains green, they might be a little bit critical on laps, on fuel, and may have to come in to pit lane one more time. And what you might see here is Matt Hunter and Dave Douglas just throwing the dice a little bit, throwing caution to the wind, and maybe coming in a couple of laps' time just to splash it up, or waiting to see if there's another caution, and then coming in then to fill it up, so that they can definitely make it to the end of the race and push it a little bit harder. But a bit of a risky strategy in all honesty, but you never know, it may pay off. Harry Anastakis as well, he's worked his way up there. He's sitting there in third place, just behind Matt Hunter at the moment, with Michael Skurlock sitting there in fourth at the moment. So not sure what Parry did in the pit lane, but I'll have a bit of a look at that as we going back to green. Stuart, I'll let you call this one.
Yeah, Parry must have had a very short stop at 9.15, so he's only done fuel, if anything. And it will be Matty Hunter who's going to take us away. Dave Douglas at the front there. I like the thinking, Carl. It's potential, and there's every chance going to have another caution. So Dave just probably thinking he's going to get back up the front here. Of course, the older tyres are at about 10 laps different. As we go here, Matty Hunter gets away down on the low line in the 48 Vision Motorsport entry as he leads us away. 23 to go in this round at Pocono. And you can see there, got Michael Skurlock trying to make his way around Dave Douglas, Josh Mickelmore behind him. And you've got Harry Anastakis trying to go with Dave on that low line. Skurley just pushes a little bit high there. That's made him susceptible potentially on the exit, and he just pulls it in there. Mickelmore gets a little bit of a run on as well. He's trying to make hay while the sun shines if he can, as we're four wide down the back straight here. But it is Matty Hunter with a good restart. Michael Skurlock behind him. Dave Douglas down to the inside of Skurley. Pushes a little bit there. Mickelmore gets caught in between himself and Dave Douglas, having to be a little bit careful, but he's managed to keep it clean there. Mickelmore moves up into third place. He's got a good run on the outside of Michael Skurlock here, but he probably won't be able to close that out. In fact, he's got caught up there. I think Matty Hunter might have had a big slide because his exit speed on that turn was terrible, and Josh Mickelmore down the inside cuts it like a slice of cheese and just makes his way through into the lead of this race. Great driving from Mickelmore to take the lead there. Skurlock got caught, and he was able to take advantage of it with Matty Hunter there, just losing some pace with those older tyres on against those around him. Jaden Russell also taking advantage as he moves up into third place. We've got a little bit of a resumption here of the status quo at the front of this race. It is Mickelmore, Skurlock, Jaden Russell, Matty Hunter, Dave Douglas. We've got Hamish Gallagher, Parry Anastakis, Matty Raymond, Brenton West, and Jake Maloney as our top 10 at this point in the race. And you can see there those older tyres just not working for Douglas and Hunter. But they won't mind at this point in time. They've moved a fair way up the grid on where they were. It is now Hamish Gallagher trying to make the move underneath Douglas and Hunter, and that 144 of Anastakis right over to Taylor Swift, as you'd expect him to be on the back of the 13. Just not able to go with him a bit. Parry did pit, but he didn't take tyres, just fuel in the last stop. So he wanted to just make it work, make sure he could get home on fuel if he needed to. As Mr. Sheen and Matty Raymond down the inside now, trying to get the move done. And you can see as well there, Jake Maloney just in the middle of Mr. Sheen and Matty Hunter as he gets up out onto the wall. does a good job, as you'd expect. So he's making progress again. He did pit and take tyres. So we're 4 wide again down the back straight. So fantastic racing from everyone. Ruben Phelps there in the Crank Esports entry. Down on the inside as well. Big slide there for Dave Douglas with the rears on the 199 Rowdy entry. Maybe a little bit of damage from that one from earlier on, but he's still doing a decent job. He'll be praying for a caution period at any stage right now if he can get one. And the 54 of Brenton Hobson moves up on the back of Jake Maloney. He's trying to make his way through. Matty Raymond not making it easy for him, wanting to jump on the back as well, as this Maloney, Hobson, Raymond train tries to make their way back up onto the leaders. You see there Hamish Gallagher gets out in front, but there's a big gap now out to Josh Mickelmore, Skurlock and Jaden Russell. 1.2 seconds, if you don't mind. That's going to be difficult to make up quickly. Going to have to work hard and spend those tyres to get back up onto the back of the leaders in case we stay green for the next 20 laps.
Yeah, and Arianistakis actually did take 2 tyres, so he took some right side tyres only, so that's why he was so much quicker in that stop. He decided to only take the right side tyres, which is going to help him out a little bit, so he's going to have a little bit more pace than maybe Matt Hunter and Dave Douglas with those slightly fresher tyres on the right side, so that's going to help him out a little bit. But he's still going to be struggling a little bit for pace. But you can see they're still doing a great job up there. They've managed to get a lot of track position. Meanwhile, Jake Maloney has managed to break free. He's working his way up down behind Hamish Gallagher, trying to get up there behind Hamish and get up into the top 4 now. As Josh Mickelmore has the lead for the moment. He's got a very fast charging Michael Skurlock right on his tail, with Jaden Russell sitting there in 3rd as well. So this race is definitely not over. We've still got a lot of action to come here. 18 and a half laps to go. This one is going to get really exciting towards the end as well, is because can all these guys make it on fuel? Are we going to see some fuel saving? Are we going to see some people struggle towards the end? We saw it a couple of weeks ago at Talladega, of course, that little bit of fuel saving and that importance of fuel, getting home on vapours. Will we see a similar thing tonight? Because they were a little bit critical on the pit stop for that caution, of course. So if we see another caution, it's going to help these guys out an enormous amount. Meanwhile, Dave Douglas is starting to fall down a little bit. He's getting passed by Foster and Matty Raymond. Matty Raymond giving Foster an absolute beautiful push down the straight there, helping Foster out an enormous amount, as Joshua Carroll-Walden sits behind Matty Ray at the moment. Brenton West as well sitting up there. Another good performance from Brenton West. We've seen some good drives from him this year, very consistent.
Yeah, absolutely, as JCW gets up the back of Matty Ray there, Mr. Sheen, as they're trying to make their way past Dave Douglas. So Douglas just slowly losing some positions here. He's still well up on where he was, though, of course, at the back of the field before that last caution. So he won't be too bothered because it is improving his stakes. He's still hoping for that caution period. I imagine we'd see some, or if not most of the field pit, if they can. It was early enough to take tyres still for the run home. But at this stage, it stays green as we're 4 wide across the start-finish line with got 2 of the Sim boys there, as well as Dave Douglas and the 113 of Brenton West. So good driving from them to keep it nice and clean. JCW's checked out. He's already up on the back of Matty Ray as they chase down Edward Foster and the Crank Esports entry of Ruben Phelps up a little bit in front of them. Parry Anastakis as well. So they're trying to work together to get back up to the back of Parry if they can. As you pointed out, Carl, only 2 tyres taken on Parry's car, but a good strategy there. It's working out for him as well. It's that little speed benefit you can see because he and Dave Douglas both short pitted. In fact, Dave Douglas didn't pit at all. He just drove through pit lane and said, "How are you, boys? I'm on my way to victory lane." Hasn't quite worked out for him that way, though. He'll be a little bit disappointed unless that was his strategy. We'll have to call him out on that one and see what happens if he gets up to the front. But speaking of up at the front, it is still Mickelmore. He's got 3/10 over Skurlock, who's got Jaden Russell closing in on him. So this battle will not subside, I don't believe, until the very final lap. So don't go anywhere. You're going to miss what I think feels like. It's just got that feeling about it, this one, that it's going to be a hairy finish like it was last week. So don't go anywhere. We had 5 cars, in fact 7 cars last week.
Oh, as we got contact between Luke Traher, I think, and Steve Williams. So Stevie Dub, Luke Traher making a bit of contact. They've managed to keep it green, but they almost had a big moment there. Stevie Dub getting a lot of damage to the front of that car. He's going to start struggling a little bit for pace. Luke Traher as well. Quite a bit of damage to the front of his car as well. So that was almost a big accident, but both drivers doing a great job to keep the cars pointing in the right direction there.
Yeah, absolutely. I must admit, I'm enjoying how liberal the track is on the cautions. Obviously, it's a wide track, so the trigger points are pretty generous here, and it's good. It means that these little things that sometimes trip us over and get cautions for very innocuous incidents aren't causing caution. So it's good. It keeps the racing green and going, particularly when the racing is as good as it has been tonight.
Yeah, the good thing about sim racing, of course, is a driver can't take off a glove or, remove a little bit of the car from the inside there and drop it out on the track to bring out a debris caution. So you get a lot less cautions in sim racing, which makes it a lot harder. Of course, when you do get a caution, it's usually for a very big moment, as Dave Douglas has exactly that, a big moment into the wall coming through turn number 2. Up into the wall, big impact. He's managed to keep the car straight, almost had Mirko Dornak into the back of him, but that's going to cost him a lot of speed, and that is going to be the end of Dave Douglas's race. He's going to struggle to get a decent finish from there now.
Yeah, probably really struggling with those tyres. He's been out on those since lap 25, so he has done the most, other than Matty Hunter, who's out there with him on track on those tyres, so just very much struggling for grip. Jaden Russell's just dropped off the back of the leaders now, so it's Mickelmore and Skurlock at the moment fighting at the front. Could just be saving himself for 3 or 4 laps and make the charge back up to join this leading pair and challenge for the finish. Jake Maloney not quite closing in, but doing his best at the moment too to join this front pack. So as I was saying, I think we're probably going to have a battle pack here of maybe 4 or 5 by the time we get to the end of this race, so don't go too far. It's going to be a good, close finish here on FGM eCast ANZCAR Thunder Series for you Wednesday night. We're at Pocono. We've got 13 to go. Mitch Motorsport, Josh Mickelmore, familiar face at the front of the field. They're doing a good job of it as well. Just see Skurley there get a little loose in the back end. 350 entry, just a bit of a slide there. He won't have liked that too much. Put a little bit of extra heat into those tyres. He'll just have to manage out, particularly as Jaden Russell starts to close up on the back of him again. And in fact, Jake Maloney coming in at a hell of a knot to join onto the back of that. Hamish Gallagher not too far behind him either. So it's heating up here in the top 5.
Yeah, this top 5 is very racy. We've got some very fast drivers up there as well. Very fast drivers in the top, almost through the whole field in all honesty, but at the moment there are some seriously good paced cars out there as well. You've got to say Jake Maloney is looking very fast. Jake Maloney, 23 positions gained in this race so far. Will he gain any more? Looks like he may be, because he's right on the tail of Jaden Russell at the moment, putting pressure on the back of Russell in the 28. The 29 is going to get underneath them here, coming through, steaming his way through as they come into turn number 2. Maloney has just absolutely cut underneath Russell. Russell thought better of it and made the right choice there. You don't really want to go too wide into turn 2 because it is one of those corners that can really catch you out, but Maloney's got some serious pace at the moment. He's caught up to the back of Skurlock relatively quickly, so watch out for this move. Skurley is going to defend as much as he can. He is going to be he's going to be really pushing that car in a defensive way, trying to keep Maloney off his second place.
You can just see there in that expanded shot that Hamish Gallagher as well is battling with Brenton Hobson there. He got a good run on. So it has spread a little bit again, but it did close up quite quickly there as well. So keep an eye on it. Skurley gets a little wide there. It looks like he might have just touched the wall. Bit of a drop off in speed there in the 350 as they go roaring past the camera there. But it is Jake Maloney closing up on Michael Skurlock. This has helped Josh Mickelmore. He's opened up a gap of about a second now over second place with 11 to go. Even at the speed that Jake Maloney's going, if he can keep it up, that gap might just be good enough. There's only a 10th between them in terms of lap time at the moment. Question is, as Maloney puts the move on Skurlock up in his second place, Skurlock won't take that lying down. He will keep the pressure on here and gets a good run out, so closes out Jake Maloney for another lap. Maloney now into third. Skurlock doing a good job there to close him back out. This helps Jaden Russell and those behind to try and close the pack back up. So it is Skurlock here on screen with Maloney.
Skurlock positioning the car perfectly there, keeping it on that slightly higher line to get a better run off the corner. What this is doing, though, is helping out the leader, Josh Micklemore, in that Mitch Motorsport number 31. While these two battle, it's going to give him the chance to get a nice bit of a lead in front of them. Meanwhile, there's a nice big gap from Hamish Gallagher now to Parry Anastakis, who's got Ruben Phelps, Edward Foster, Matty Raymond.
There was a touch. There was a touch there, sorry. Jake Maloney just got into the back corner of Michael Skurlock on the exit of the corner. It sent Skurlock down into the under the apron, and he did manage to catch it now. So he's now dropped back down into sixth, and is behind Hamish Gallagher. Now Michael Skurlock is going to have to try and make that gap back up as we've got 9 laps to go.
Yeah, just re-watching that one. So Scully's actually gone a little bit too deep into turn 2. He didn't get down enough. Maloney didn't make contact with him, so it was just Skurlock making a bit of a mistake there, pushing a bit too much speed into turn 2, that very tricky corner, and it cost him dearly. So he's going to be dropping off pace there. That gap between Gallagher and Anastakis is going to help him out a lot, because that's going to give him a little bit of breathing room, but that's going to hurt Skurlock a lot. That's going to drop him down, and that's going to be quite a bit of damage to get home with. We've got 8 laps still to go. It's going to be tricky from here for him now.
Big apologies to Jake Maloney. It's just at the top of the screen there. It looked like he just caught on the rear quarter of Skurlock there. So my apologies, Jake. Clean pass. Skurly mistake. And he's now up into second place and trying to chase down Josh Micklemore for the lead of this race.
I was keeping an eye on lap times now. Fairly even at the top at the moment. Although last time round, Maloney was about 3 tenths quicker than Micklemore, so he is on a fast charge. This is going to help Brenton Hobson as well, because he's going to be able to sit on the back of Maloney, just get brought along for the ride and help catch up to Micklemore a little bit. He's going to hope to be able to catch up to Micklemore and get that pass done.
Yeah, absolutely. And Jake Maloney there with Brenton Hobson matching almost identical lap times last time around. So they're both flying fastest in the top 3 at the moment. A 6.8 for Micklemore last time around, 3.8 and 3.9 for Maloney and Hobson respectively. So 0.3 last lap. That gap's going to close down again as Maloney gets the benefit of the draft. Micklemore doing the hard work at the lead of this race with 7 to go. And Micklemore's going to have to work really hard here. He's going to have to make the 31 Mitch Motorsport entry as wide as he possibly can. The problem is this track itself is very wide. It's going to be difficult to defend. He's got to put the car where he can and do his very best here with the fast-charging Maloney right behind him. Micklemore's pretty experienced, though. He's going to know what to try and do here, but pace is pace, and there's nothing he might be able to do about it with the Mitch Motorsport entries. You can just see there, Maloney closing right up on the back. He's going to get down the inside now and give it a try underneath the 31 of Josh Micklemore. Good run in. Good drive from both drivers here as the battle continues. I think Maloney's got the preferred line now, going down into turn 3. Just able to squeeze it down low there, and it looks like he's going to get the job done. He's just going to squeeze past up in front of Josh Micklemore and take the lead here. Jake Maloney moves into the lead of this race.
Really good move for Maloney. Oh, a little bit further back. Anastakis has just made contact with the wall, and this is going to give a whole heap of cars the opportunity to get past the Anastakis train. He was holding up a lot of cars behind him. Great job from Anastakis of defending, but that hit in the wall is going to cost him dearly. You see all the cars just streaming past now. They've got the opportunity. I was about to sort of talk about this battle because it was heating up a bit, but that little mistake from Anastakis has really cost him. Meanwhile, Micklemore is trying to get back that first position now. He's all over the back of Maloney. He's trying to keep up to pace, and he's doing a good job at the moment. He's going to get that little bit of help from the draft from Maloney now. You can see Hobson as well getting close here too, so this battle is not over for sure. Maloney really needs to try and break the toe a little bit, get some pace here just to break the gap from Micklemore. He's going to want to get around about a 0.5, 0.6 second lead to make it a little bit easier for him. But a little bit further back, we've got the massive battle between Donnelly, Foster. Donnelly making a move down the inside of Foster at the moment. The battle is really heating up for the lower positions from 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th position. They are all fighting. Maddie Raymond in the background as well, not keeping that car as clean as usual. Mr. Sheen has not kept it clean tonight. A bit of damage on the left-hand side tonight. Can't quite make the move on Perry Anastakis. Foster, meanwhile, is defending perfectly against Kay Donnelly, doing a good job of keeping him behind him as his teammate of Joshua Carroll-Walton catches up. The Natari Autosport team getting behind Kay Donnelly, so Donnelly is in a Natari sandwich at the moment. This battle is very, very close as Anastakis just has another moment, loses the back a little bit. I think he just had a little bit of contact with Maddie Raymond as well, so very, very close there. Oh, Maddie Raymond actually touched the wall, so that's what happened there. So Maddie Raymond not having the cleanest night out there. Unusual for Maddie Ray, but he's still keeping the car going, which is all important. Meanwhile, up the front, Jake Maloney has pulled out a bit of a gap. He's got that half a second gap that he wanted, that 0.6 of a second lead over Micklemore. This is going to help him out. We've got 3 laps remaining here at Pocono for the Wednesday Night Thunder series. The Xfinity cars for ANZCAR putting on another great show tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Great drive from Josh Micklemore there. Just, in fact, Trev pointing out in the chat, maybe just not quite able to look after his boots as much as Maloney was able to. Leading the race, of course, just penalised him a little bit, but Maloney's driven extremely well, up 26 positions, if you don't mind, into the lead of this race. So now Micklemore's just got to focus on holding out Hobbo, who is closing fast. Hobbo's just dropped off the pace a little bit now. He is lapping in the same vicinity as Micklemore. With 3 to go, the gap there is 0.3 of a second. So that is going to be something that, obviously, if the lap times, goes without saying, if the lap times stay the same, he's going to be able to manage that one out there, Micklemore. But a little bit of benefit for Hobbo, obviously, following along as that gap now closes down. It's almost at a 10th. Hobbo getting a good run there and doing a good job. So can he get the job done here on the Mitch Motorsport entry as they exit turn 3? So we're getting close here. It's going to be 2 laps to go this time around. Still very close down here as well. Sorry, Carl, in that battle that you're talking about before between Foster and Donnelly. Foster still holding out Kate Donnelly, but there's less than a 10th between them.
Yeah, this battle for 8th, 9th, 10th and 11th is absolutely nose to tail at the moment. Brenton West has caught right back up to JCW as Brenton West does have a little bit of a connectivity issue. It seems he's blinking away, Blinky Bill at the moment. Hopefully that subsides for him. We've seen a few people with connectivity issues tonight, which is never fun. Not what we want, of course, but sometimes the good old Australian internet is not always what we would love to have. But he seems to have stabilised at the moment. But I've got to say, at the moment, the 29, Jake Maloney, doing a fantastic job. We know Maloney is always fast, always quick, very talented young driver, Maloney, and again, in that Supra, doing a fantastic job as the white flag is flown. We've got 1 lap remaining here at Pocono. Will Hobbo be able to get the job done on Micklemore? It's going to be very close. Meanwhile, Ruben Phelps is getting a good run on Michael Skurlock, who's fallen back into the grasps of this pack. You're going to see Foster soon making a move on Skurley as well, as Skurley battles that damaged pony around the track. Rainbow Dash is probably going to have to be shot after this race with a broken leg.
Yeah, absolutely. Might even need to put that livery down as Foster's going to get a run on him here, get down underneath him and move up 1 more position. But it is going to be Jake Maloney who brings it around as he gets through the final turn here, and he is going to bring it home. Bit of a slide there to celebrate. And the 29 entry, Jake Maloney, is going to take out the win here for the ANZCAR Thunder Series at Pocono.
as Foster makes a mistake down towards the back, has saved Michael Skurlock. They are neck and neck as they cross the line. Nothing between those three cars of Skurlock, Foster, and Carol Walden there. Foster recovering from that little moment he had just to save that one, because that was incredibly close there. So Foster very much getting lucky there to actually maintain that position.
Showing on my screen as a dead heat between Foster and JCW. I'm sure it's not, but equally indicating a dead heat between them, and 0.05 of a second for Michael Skurlock ahead of them both. So a really close finish there, and the same between Matty Ray as well and Luke Trahair.
So JCW finished in 9th place with he was 10.007 seconds off the lead. Foster finished in 10th position, 10.008 off the lead. There was nothing between them there. That is, you can't get closer than that, really.
1/1000th. What a finish. Well done to those two. After that, obviously Foster will be a little bit annoyed at himself. But a good finish there. And Jake Maloney, very, very sedate celebrations by ANZCAR standards. No engine blown, no nothing. Just a quick little curly whirly on the inside of the track there. And he's taken home the bickies here tonight. So let's bring up the results from this race here. ANZCAR at Pocono. And let's have a look up on screen now. When it decides that it was.
Eventually we'll get it up on screen. It will come very shortly for us, I am sure. We'll just wait for that for a moment. But a great finish for Jake Maloney. 26 positions gained in that race. A very strong return to the Thunder Series for Maloney. First race in the Thunder Series. So race winner Jake Maloney, as I said, 26 positions gained. Second place Josh Micklemore. Third for Brenton Hobson. Fourth for Hamish Gallagher. Fifth for Jaden Russell. Sixth was Ruben Phelps. Good run from him as usual. Kay Donnelly up there in seventh at the end, managing to pip Skurlock by barely anything as well. Skurlock there in eighth after that bit of damage. Joshua Carroll Walden in 9th, with Edward Foster rounding out the top 10. 11th was Brenton West, Matty Raymond 12th, 13th Luke Trahair, Nigel Patton 14th, 15th Anastakis, 16th for Norman Clark, 17th for Troy Davidson, Mirko Dortnack in 18th, 19th for Greg Spencer. Matt Hunter finished in 20th position. Down in 21st was Christopher Finlay, Tristan Koch in 22nd, Dave Douglas out of the race, first of the cars to not finish, 23rd, 24th Stephen Williams, Gary Wellman 25th, 26th for Lachlan Acquia, Aaron Dillon 27th, 28th for Steve Hoppett, and Andrew Dyson out early with connectivity issues.
Yeah, what a great race. Again, week after week, this Thunder Series on a Wednesday night just continues to deliver a really, really strong level of competition. And Jake Maloney taking out the win there, 26 positions up. Number of drivers in the high single digits in terms of movements, including Kay Donnelly, Ruben Phelps, Hamish Gallagher, Matty Raymond as well, all just on the edge of 10 positions gained during the race. And a really strong run again from Josh Micklemore. He'll consolidate points in the championship. And Brenton Hobson likewise coming in third. He'll be, I think he'll be happy with that result. Obviously would have wanted to take out the race win, but a good, after his qualifying performance, but a good solid run from him in the race as well.
Yeah, that's it. Another solid run from Hobson, and this guy is getting more and more experience under his belt, and that is a scary, scary thing for the rest of us because he has shown some incredible pace. So we'll just grab the drivers up, and speaking of the man himself, we'll start off with Brenton Hobson for getting his P3 finish tonight in the 54. Congratulations on the P3, Brenton, and welcome back to the booth.
Yeah, thanks. I'm pretty happy with that tonight, actually. If we didn't get any cautions, I think we would have probably been in about the same spot anyway by the end of the race. So I think it all worked out, but we had to do it the hard way there to get that track position back. But I was happy with that race.
Yeah, another strong result from you. We were just talking before you came in the booth about the fact you're building up more and more experience, which is a scary thing because you're already quick as it is. And once again, showing that speed with another pole position.
Yeah, one lap pace is good to have, but it's really not that important when it comes to looking after your tyres on the race run, which is what hurt us a little bit last week, and a lot of inexperience in what happened in the race last week. So I sort of need to apologise to all the guys that we killed in that one. But that was my main goal this week, was to come back and just try and have a steady, good, solid drive, really. And I'm pretty happy with that one. We didn't make any mistakes. We kept it clean, had good pace, didn't do anything silly. So and actually had good tyre wear throughout the race. So all in all, I think I checked the boxes that I was looking for this week.
Yeah, good run for you. It's the first time out at Pocono?
I think I've raced it once before in the NIS series again. I think I've raced all the tracks once, but first time in the Xfinity cars as far as I can remember.
So how did you find it here at Pocono? Because it is a very tricky track, very fast, but a little bit technical as well.
It is technical. I think it probably suits those of us that come from a bit of a road background, because it's less of an oval and more of 3 long straights and 3 individual corners. So I think it probably leans itself a little bit more to like a road background as far as of the oval tracks that we go to. It probably suits us more than most, but yeah, it's a tough one. Like it's really fast, isn't it? So you sort of got to measure your corner entries pretty accurately, because it's easy to go in too fast, and measuring the distance between, too deep and not deep enough into the corners, is the difference between oversteer and understeer, and, getting the perfect corner. So to do that every time, 3 different corners every lap is challenging, but yeah, I enjoyed it. It was good fun.
And you stepped up to the challenge well. Congratulations on the P3 finish. Of course, we look forward to seeing you back up here in the booth very shortly. But as usual, usual shout out and love to your sponsors and people in general.
Yeah, thanks to the team, Synergy Sim Racing, and Jay Russ, who was in again tonight. He was on for a good result, and he ended up getting one, which was nice. Top 5, I think, for him tonight. So congrats to him. He's got so much pace and hasn't had a lot of luck yet. So that was good to see him get a nice result tonight and have good speed all night. And yeah, it's all the sponsors: JK Signs, Smith & Sons, DM Cinematography, and all the rest. It's thanks to them.
No worries. And yeah, another good job from Jaden Russell as well. Another top 5 finish for him. So been having some good results, and it's only a matter of time before we see him stepping up a little bit further, I think. Congratulations again, Brenton Hobson.
Yes.
Next up, we'll head to second place finisher Josh Mickelmore for Mitch Motorsport. Congratulations on that P2 finish. Looks like you had some good pace out there tonight and some good racing as well.
Yeah. Long run, we had pretty good pace, and we sort of had to try and keep ahead of Skurlock there. I was expecting the yellow in that last period, but never came. So I was just trying to keep it ahead of Skurlock. But yeah, it was pretty good fun.
Yeah, we saw some great racing between yourself and Scully, and also Maloney towards the end as well. Obviously, you struggled a little bit more towards the end. Did you just find you dropped a little bit of tyre degradation there towards the end, or was it other things that you were struggling with?
Yeah, like I said, the first run were very good long run speed, and that run just then I was going a lot harder, just trying to keep it ahead of Skurlock, and in case there was another yellow sort of thing. But like I said, the yellow never came, and we knew Maloney was going to be quick. He's been quicker in the past. He started off the back and came all the way through, and obviously won again tonight. So yeah, all credit to him. He was bloody quick. So, but yeah, all in all, it was bloody good fun.
That's good to hear, and you gave us some great racing as always, and look, some good pace as well. And it's good to see you having some better luck with the new modem.
Yeah, with the new modem, yeah, it seems to be pretty solid now. So I'm glad we're over all that stuff, because it was pissing me off a bit.
But it's good to have you back properly, and it's good to see you're not having any technical failures tonight. We always love to have you out here, Josh. Congratulations on the P2, and the usual thing of shout out and love to sponsors.
Well done to Hamish tonight. Another top 5 for him. I think he's leading the championship still, so it's good points haul for him. And BK Designs for a team sponsor. And you guys for streaming as well tonight. Yeah, always watching back. So yeah, cheers, guys.
You're always welcome, especially when you give us good racing like that. It makes it a lot easier to call. Thank you so much, Josh Mickelmore. And finally, we'll head to the race winner, the biggest gainer of the night, with 26 positions gained in that race. Jake Maloney, welcome back to the ANZCAR series. Welcome back to Thunder. First race in the Thunder series for you this year, and you go and win it.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun tonight out here. I saw 10 minutes before the race. I was at Pocono and thought I better get in on this one. Pocono is probably one of my favourite tracks ever since iRacing released the updated version a couple of years ago. And yeah, it was a lot of fun racing tonight with everyone and coming through the field.
Yeah, look, we saw some great passes from you and some great racing and a couple of close moments, of course. It's always the tricky thing coming through the field of just trying to avoid some accidents when they happen, but you sort of had the pace and the moves to keep yourself out of trouble tonight.
Yeah, it was all about picking my way through. Probably a little bit of lucky. There was one move where I thought I was going to back off and just sit behind, but then all of a sudden I was 4 wide into turn 1. So yeah, that was an interesting move, and luckily we all got out of it. It could have gone a bit pear-shaped. But just a lot of fun racing. Everyone, good clean racing, and yeah, good fun racing when everyone is as clean as they are tonight.
That's good to see. And got to ask you, what's your secret at Pocono?
I think probably the key here is just to back up your entry and make sure you're not pushing on an exit. Just to make sure you get that clear drive off, so you're not wearing out the right front. And I downshift in turn 1 and turn 3, so that's sort of my general method, which seems to work pretty decently, especially over the long run.
Well, it does definitely work well. We saw some great pace from you once again. Are we going to see you again this season, do you think, or is it a bit too busy schedule-wise for you at the moment?
Hard to tell. Normally I just sort of make a pretty last-minute decision as to whether I race and sort of what track it's at, but I'm sure I'll be around here in one of the series every now and then, so it's always a lot of fun coming out and racing.
It's always a pleasure to have you out here. Congratulations on another great finish, another great victory for yourself, and thank you so much for giving us some incredibly fun overtakes to watch as well. The usual thing before I let you go of shout out and love to sponsors.
Just a big thanks to all the admins for putting the series on and for you guys for doing the broadcast.
No, you're always welcome. Thank you so much, Jake Maloney. Congratulations on the victory, and hopefully we'll get you back in the booth before the season is out. So, a great race from Pocono. We see it so often here. It may not be my favourite track, but it does give us some great racing.
Yeah, absolutely. The drivers did themselves proud tonight. A really, really good, clean race, as Jake Maloney said just there as well. Makes it fun, makes it easy for us to call as well. And certainly the drivers nice and close together. A few little incidents, but certainly all racing. And the guys will be enjoying it tonight, particularly those heading here tomorrow night, Carl, when we're back from 8 o'clock with the Cup Series.
Yeah, that's it. We're going to be back with the Cup Series tomorrow night. Should be an interesting one, of course, as well, because it is a 2-stage race tomorrow night for the Cup. Something a little bit different. So that is going to make things a little bit more interesting. So 40 lap races, I think, off the top of my head. So that's going to shake things up a little bit tonight for the Cup. Something a little bit different. So excited for that one, of course.
What exactly does that mean?
So it means that we're going to have 2 races tomorrow night. So we're going to get an extra race in for the Cup. So you're going to get the qualifying as normal, and then everybody will start in their regular positions. And then I believe, now this is the tricky bit because, as usual, completely ill-informed for this kind of thing. But I believe it's the second race. I'm not sure if it's going to be a reverse grid or something like that, but effectively that goes into a second race. So it's going to be sort of 2 races for the night. So we're going to get an extra race. So 2 40-lap races in that one. So it should make things a little bit more interesting. And it's just going to throw a avian among the felines.
So what you're telling me is that we're working harder tomorrow night for the coverage, but that's good. we're looking forward to something a little bit different there. And so we'll bring that one to you tomorrow night, starting at 8 p.m. on FGM eCast. And that just about does it for us for the night. Looking forward to tomorrow night's race. And we'll be back here at 8 p.m. to bring that to you live on FGM eCast, your place for pace. As usual, Carl, thank you very much for joining us this evening and introducing us once again to your expertise around here at Pocono. And we will see you and everyone who joined us tonight on the stream for another episode of ANZCAR Cup tomorrow night from 8 p.m. So thanks very much for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow night, and enjoy the rest of your evening.